Hello everybody, welcome back to another stream. Yeah, how is everybody doing? Okay, let me set up first. So today we're actually going to be doing some Nikke. Simple reason is that the Nikke event second part has come out, and it's just easier to do it after everything is kind of unlocked rather than doing it in separate days. Although it's a bit easier to do shorter streams that way, 5 per episode. But I mean, if you're playing the game, you are gonna be able to do that anyway. So it's just better off. This is more for people who really were not here during this time period, and they want to look back. And honestly, I think this type of format is better. Personally speaking, anyway. There are obviously other formats, other styles, but I'm not gonna be focusing on any of that, am I? You know. So yeah. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Do enjoy listening to Nikke OST sometime. Cosmograph really did really a good job sometimes. I gotta say, is it the first time I feel like they actually changed the gacha music. It's kind of enjoyable, so I'm just like leaving it here. Because at the moment I come in actual game, and surely I will need to switch off the gacha side, because I do not know how much YouTube hates gacha right now. Being that there are people who are getting attacked by gacha, so yeah. I mean, even the Australia board is like, hell no. Of all games that they don't allow Trails into Horizon because there is a rolling element inside it. I mean, Daybreak 2 had it, but I think it was because it was before all the fiasco that they allowed it. But now with all of the horrible fiasco against Japan, a lot of country. I mean, I'm not saying that they're risking association with Japan, but they are not willing to close one eye anymore, I guess. So the gacha element, even though it's earning them money, some of them are just like, nah, you know. And worse off, right? Trails into Horizon doesn't even use actual cash for gacha. It uses, I believe, the shard tokens you get from Daybreak 2. The Grim tokens or whatever it's called. It's legit a free currency. You farm from farming monsters, not getting it from achievements. I mean, you get some from achievements, but most of them you're gonna get from farming. And apparently, some people take offense to that. I'm like, you prefer gachaing with real money than you know gachaing with an in-game currency that is farmable? Ludicrous, ludicrous, I say. So yeah. Anyway, we can actually start with the proper part now. I think. I think enough of the rants. I've been ranting quite a bit. I'll be honest. Don't feel very good on that, but yeah. Ugh. Man, I feel like absolute dog shit. I know, just saying. Never have I feel like that, man. Oh, this is not right. I'm a dum dum. Sorry, I'm really a dum dum. Why did I do it this way? I guess I gotta do it this way, huh? No choice. Feels bad, man. Okay. I mean, I'm just really enjoying the OST. It actually has started already. Yeah. Let's do it this way. Okay, there we go. We shall start out. Sorry, I should go in via Arc Guardian because the animation is a bit different. So this is the part 2 of the story. So this is the, I guess, the screen for it. If you remember the screen from the previous one, let's see whether if I can do this right now. Because I'm doing some GPF grinding right now because of all of TV. I'm back in the game after a while. A month of quitting and then I came back. Pretty much normal for GPF. Anyway, this is Arc Guardian. This was the original one, story 1. So the music changes. So this one has the motif of Overzone, whereas this one is the true motif of what you hear in the gacha music just now. It's basically a softer instrumental version of this song, if I'm not wrong. I don't know what's the song name yet. I think it's called Arc Guardian, but don't quote me on it. I have not listened to Cosmograph uploaded track. Yeah, so yeah, I need to clear the shells. But yeah, anyway, we're going to start off with records first. So I bookmarked where we ended last time, which is the approaching Andy. I actually bookmarked the wrong thing. I bookmarked the strongest Nikke previously. If I started off with that would be awkward, but I just did my due diligence and checked it, so now I know where I stopped. Okay, so we're gonna start from Wounded Heroes A. I don't think there are any new cutscenes or scenarios. This is very flat. But you see Lily Wise in white and Lily's around, I guess. Very fitting. So yeah. The OST is very sad. Leaving all behind. Okay, let's go into Wounded Heroes, eh? Snow White opens her eye and found herself in the infirmary. Running her hands over her body, she finds nothing wrong. She pushes herself up from the bed. A sharp stab of pain shoots above through her hand. She clutches her temples. Vivid memories come flooding back. The Black Heretics land, encircling the fallen Lilywise. After staring down at her for a long while, the Heretics all reach out their hands in unison. Snow White unleashes a barrage of bullets in a frenzy. She refrains from using missiles for fear of injuring Lilywise. Her rounds are quickly spent. She pulls out another magazine and attempts to reload. Her trembling hands fumbles the magazines, and it falls pitifully to the ground. She doesn't have any other magazines she can load. Her gazes shift to the ones on the ground. She has to pick it up. She has to pick it up, reload and shoot the heretics. But she can't bring herself to reach for the magazines, or leave her head. If she does, the heretics might be looking right at her. Cold sweat runs down her body. She wants to run away. Her eyes are still fixed on the floor until the foot of a black heretic comes into view. The heretic is heading her way. Her eyes quivers as she looks up. One of the heretics is walking towards her. Snow White drops to her knees. Her supernatural firepower and lightning-fast regenerative abilities makes her a formidable foe. On the other hand, Lilywise and Rapunzel lie fallen on the ground. I have to do this. Snow White, oh gosh, repeats to herself over and over as she kicks off the ground and stands up. She snatches the magazines, reloads, and aims for the head. In that instant, she sees the heretic's face. Though partly hidden, her red eyes and emotionless expression can be faintly made out. It's a face Snow White has seen countless times before, the face of her comrades who fought alongside her. To her, the Black Heretics is someone who was once an ally. Tries to pull the trigger, but her fingers doesn't move. So basically, during the fight to the Queen, they lost a lot of bodies, right? All the bodies became heretics. This is pain. Hey, guess what? The PTSD of Dorothy and Tina wasn't the worst, huh? Let me add on more PTSD. Says director of Nikke. This feels like what they're trying to do, no? Her finger doesn't move. Pull it! Pull it! Pull the trigger! I have to save Lilith and Rapunzel. The heretic's head explodes. The finger standing before her, both fearsome and pitiable, collapses. Aside from the heretic, a white flower splattered with red. The white flower, stained red, dances in the wind. It swings back and forth freely and without restraint. A black flower snaps. Its black petals scattered and the stems break. A gentle wind brushes past Snow White. She looks down on the ground. Black petals lie scattered in every direction. She raises her head and sees the red-stained white flower. Lily-wise, pure and beautiful, resembles the white flower just like always.
Snow White, 大丈夫？ちょっと時間がかかっちゃったけど、全部片付いたね。怪我はない？お姉ちゃん。うん。ここにいるよ。死なないでください。うん。
Snow White grabs her head even more tightly. Oh, this is a mind switch moment. She couldn't do anything. Like a complete fool, she couldn't even reload her own weapon as always. All she could do was sit there and hope to be rescued. The Red Wolf who once created her fragility and kept her safe is gone. The white flower that did the same is now withering. She must do something. As she grits her teeth and tries to steel herself, the Black Heretic's face resurfaces in her mind, expressionless yet so familiar up close. Snow White becomes certain. If the same situation were to happen again, she would respond in the same way as she did before. She clutches her head in anguish. The otherwise quiet infirmary is filled with shallow groans, the sounds of hair being pulled out. Well, we're starting with this, huh? Snow White opens the door leading to the lobby. Dorothy, Scarlet, and Rapunzel looks at her.
目が覚めたようですね。具合はいかがですか？大丈夫です。ごめんなさい。この程度で済んだのは幸いだった。化け物どもめ。どこからともなく湧いて出る。ラプンツェルは大丈夫でしたか？はい、問題ありません。肩が。私のパーツは予備がありますから。ラプンツェルの行動不能は重大な問題になりますから。
Wait.
常に余裕を持ってスペアパーツが用意されているのです。
Rapunzel always has spare parts. Back then. Afterwards, after they abandoned the Goddess Squad, I wonder if there's any more spare parts that they could use. Probably not, right? They probably do not have a spare part body for Rapunzel to fill in. They will need to request the arc to remake it. At least I am kind of predicting. I wouldn't say I'm sure because obviously that story isn't out yet. I would predict the Rapunzel for Rapunzel to resurrect as her outer version, just like Snow White did. She's going to need to first receive a new body, second, receive new armaments and upgrades, which obviously it seems that Johan and Cecile already planned it out. So back then, their parts were readily available. Their customized parts were always readily available. I wonder if they can find any of them right now in the current time period, number one. Number two would be is it enough for a new body? Because the brain has already been attuned, that's how she doesn't die, right? And her core is there. If the core is there, they give her the core and they give her that, and they're attuned, she should be fine. Right. Of the reborn squad from the Ashes of Goddess 4, as said, I think the two most like dangerous one right now are like Scarlet. Because Scarlet, if she mind switch back, can be much worse and dangerous. Obviously, the Scarlet now is dangerous, but at least she is very, very keen on just drinking. You know, she isn't like holding her swordsmanship for like eternity and holding unbeholden. You know, she doesn't just focus on strength. She focuses a lot on agility, weak spot manipulation, and a lot of other experiences. Something the old Scarlet wouldn't do. And yeah, so and then the last one obviously is our tank girl. Though because she's a tank, the only person that really needs tanking of Rapunzel, Snow White tends to have a good defensive position in the most of scenarios. But she usually do sniper, she do artillery, she kills them before they come close, as much as possible. And she's really good with zoning. So unless you're fighting a melee character like Lilywise, who is super speed in the first place, Snow White will have the disadvantage. And even then, usually she knows how to use her weapons to guard herself. Because it's shown like I think 4 times already, 5 times maybe, that Snow White uses her launcher to guard herself from quite a few attacks. Sometimes may have to remake her weapon slightly, because she does maintenance on her weapon, right? She also does a lot of her other stuff, gear wise. So we definitely see that from Snow White after all. So this point of content makes me think that maybe Rapunzel doesn't need to be begging for the art for the renewal of her body. Maybe, but both Scarlet and Rapunzel. Scarlet is a normal body, right? So if she wants to upgrade her body to another form, she will need to re-attune, which can kill her still. But if she's just using a normal body form and still able to dish out this amount of power, what if she has a similar specs, like a slightly enhanced version? Right? It's gonna be crazy. I mean, to be fair, most of Eden's original forces were normal Nikkes in the first place anyway, so basically everyone there, the strongest, closest one that is comparable is actually Scarlet, because everyone else was based off a higher spec body. So to see them fighting on par with Goddess to a certain extent is crazy as well. You must think of Haran, Isabel, they were not pilgrims made by nature, they were not those kind of pilgrim models, right? They are not the fairy tale models. They are tried and true trained up versions of normal Nikkes with continuous upgrade to the point that they can be on par with Goddess, but I don't think they surpass the Pig Goddess, obviously. Lilywise is obviously the 80% of the firepower of Goddess 4 after all. Okay, maybe not 85, maybe 70. Actually, that's still too generous. 65, because we need to give Snow White what she's due. She is a good number clearer. If you play her young version from the events, this one that you see right now, her normal version is actually pretty good for mobbing. just on the amount of wave clear you can do. Obviously, once you reach on parity, her multiplier doesn't work that well. But in law wise, she does do that kind of damage, right? So, and then obviously her revamped version, which is her new remodeled, not the OG one that came out on launch, also has that ability now. So basically, if you want to screen wipe, there's no reason to use the old one. It's just a combination of the normal version, the OG version, plus her young version, and maybe slight alterations to make her new remodeled version. She's basically a combination of the two versions, if I'm being honest. And that's what 7 draws V, is it, plus 6? So right now it's 11. I wouldn't be surprised if 12 is just basically 2 versions of lasers. 2 versions of lasers. Right now she's just using bullet and 2 lasers, but maybe she will make, instead of bullet, she'll just use lasers all the way. Who knows? Okay, anyway.
よかった。ご心配ありがとうございます、スノーホワイト。ドロシーとグレンも見ての通りです。まともに食らってしまった。骨、要はフレームが砕けていたそうだが、今は元通りだ。ニケは楽でいい。部品さえあればすぐに戦場へ戻れる。つい先ほどまで生死の境をさまよっていた人たちの前で言うべきことではありませんね。家庭がどうあれ生き延びたではないか。まあそれはそうです。指揮官は重傷を負われ VTC 直轄の医療施設へ搬送されました。
VTC? That's bad.
大丈夫ですよね。人一倍丈夫な方というのでしょうか。命に別状はないそうです。VTC の専門家が治療に当たっていますので心配することはありません。脇腹を抜かれて生きているとは常人離れしているな。治療が終わり次第すぐに復帰するそうです。少し待てばきっと戻られます。一安心ですね。リリスお姉ちゃんは
The question that everybody is scared of answering.
あら、みんなもう元気？やっぱり若さがものを言うのね。お姉ちゃん、どうしたの？助けてくれてありがとうございました。気にしないで。できることをしただけよ。とにかく今はしっかり休んで。第2次封鎖は無事に成功したからしばらくは落ち着くはず。整備するものがあればしておくこと。いい？例のヘレティックどものことは何か分かったのか？あちこちで一生懸命調べてるところ。近いうちに答えは出ると思うけど、不幸中の幸いはアナキオールほどの力がないこと。多分ボディの性能の差じゃないかな。それは何とも良い知らせだ。とにかく今は待つ以外にできることもないからみんなはゆっくり休んで。難しい注文だと思うけど。分かった？また後でね。
Lilywise opens the door and steps out. Snow White stares blankly, watching Lilywise leave.
リリスの状態のことは何も聞いていませんか？
Wait, what? What? Okay, can.
ええ。あの時は随分具合が悪そうだったが。ニケは基本的に病気にはなりません。吐血したということはきっとボディのどこかが。スノーホワイト。はい。リリスの後を追って話を聞いてみてください。やめておきます。私が言っても泣きつくことぐらいしかできそうにありませんから。それに 今誰より不安なのはきっとお姉ちゃん自身です。余計に困らせるわけにはいきません。気持ちが整理できたら話してくれるはずです。その時まで待ちます。
まあ、大人になりましたね。見たまえ、私の言った通りであろう。
Dorothy.
変わるしかないのでしょうね。私たち全員が。
It's only natural that we change, whether we like it or not. Huh? That line can be used on you, Dorothy. That line can be used on you, Dorothy. What was the last thing we saw in the latest Goddess 4 epic log, huh? Meandering. Anyway, the real enemy.
Unchained.
Uh-oh.
その通り。あなたの血液から抽出可能な特殊物質の名称です。
どういうものなんだ？
端的にはナノマシンを殺す物質と言えます。ニケの脳内にある妊婦はもちろんのこと、ヘレティックの身体を構成するそれさえも。
ヘレティックの？
そうです。先日の封鎖作戦でゴッデス部隊が撃破したヘレティック5体。そのうち1体はあなた由来のアンチェインドでナノマシンが崩壊し再生能力を失っています。その後ゴッデス部隊の攻撃で消滅したことを確認しました。捕獲したヘレティックアナキオールに対する実験で有効性が確かめられました。まあ、実験後に別の問題が発生しましたが、
Anachiro is still here
ことではありません。
in BTC.
猟犬が対処に当たっていますので、すぐに解決するでしょう。
How?
つまり、あの黒いヘレティックがボロボロになったのは私の血のせいだったということか。
その通りです。
内臓をえぐられたんだ。うんこの方が原因ってこともあるんじゃないか。そういう冗談は苦手のようだな。今後は気をつけよ
う。ご配慮に感謝します。
Much appreciated.
それで、
ど
うしてそんなことになる？なぜ私の血の中にそんなものがあって、どうしてヘレティックに効くんだ？
マシンメサイアと呼ばれた古いプロジェクトの影響とだけ。それ以上の詳細はいくらあなたであっても開示しかねます。
また機密事項か。君ら VTC が何をしていようと知ったことではないが、表で言えないようなことばかりやっているようではいつか破滅するぞ。
そのようなことは起こりえません。
言ってられるのは今のうちだけだ。今は何でも思い通りだろうがな。だが、ひとたび君たちの悪事が私たちに害を及ぼせば、二度と教会の門は開けられなくなると思え。
肝に銘じておきましょう。
VTC の司祭なんてめったにお目にかかれないんだ。ついでに一つ聞かせてもらおうか。アークはラプチャーの進行より前に作られ始めていたんじゃないか。
なぜそう思われるのです？
どう考えても辻褄が合わないからだ。一度見学したことがある。実物をな。あれほど広くて高度な技術の施された地下都市がたった数年でできただと。それも建設の大部分は終わってほとんど完成していた。
人類の技術水準を低く見すぎているのでしょう。我々は神の領域に手が届いたのです。
Wait, what if the Ark is a conduit of an artifact? Or should I say a host of the Raptures when they invaded? Then the thing would make sense that they switched, right? Humans was above ground, they went underground. The Raptures from below ground came above ground. and eventually started overtaking the air as well, right? If you think about biodiversity, it sounds like that's that whatever the ark was clearly wasn't likely related to the church, but the church overtook it, probably part of the remnant technology of raptures and of course Nikke's. It will make sense on that front. It will also make sense of why they cannot control the nymph, because the nymph was a byproduct of a rapture. And VTC just salvaged the shit out of it. Then paraded it as their technology. You know what? That sounds very probable. We know VTC has been on a lot of shit, right? I mean, I haven't played the last VTC event because I was off, but based on what we have known about VTC, VTC has not been out in the open, but doesn't mean that they have not been in like big events previously. There have been enough events that we know a general consensus, but this event would definitely be a lot more intriguing if I have the full understanding of what happened in the VTC event. And most of the time, we're gonna talk about VTC events, we're gonna talk about missiles, because missiles is what is left from the salvaging trifecta, right? So and yeah, they even said we have even come close to the well of the divine before. How much do we want to think that was Origin Nikke 0, or the one before the Levi's, or should I say Heretic Queen? It's probably I mean, there's a lot of people giving the form of that the Heretic Queen is Nikke number 0, the Levi's is 001, or maybe Levi's is 0 because prototype was the one before, and they didn't want to label that as a Nikke, so they label that as a Heretic Queen or Rapture Queen. That would be kind of messed up.
バカを言うな。土を掘るだけでも10年はかかるはずだ。とにかく、あれを見れば考えられることは2つしかない。本当に常識をはるかに超えた技術が実在するか、あるいはラプチャーの進行が大昔から予見されていたかだ。
うん。
それが答えか。
根拠のない憶測です。
そうだろうな。証拠を残すような君らではない。ああ、誤解のないように言っておこう。私は興味本位で聞いただけだ。言いふらすつもりはない。心配は無用だ。
ご配慮に感謝します。
それより、私の体はどうなった？
内臓の大部分を切除せざるを得ませんでした。
Internal
お
organs?
そらく今後、今まで通りの日常は送れなくなるでしょう。
Now, you may not be able to live an ordinary life from now on. Who do we have here that sounds very familiar? And it starts with A and ends with N. And who is always predicting and ahead of stuff. No? Does it not feel like it? Feels like it, right?
激しい運動は当然ながら生活が著しく制限されるはずです。
ご自慢の奇跡とやらでどうにかしてくれ。
どうにかした結果、生きておられるのです。そうでなければ、とうに命を落とされていたでしょう。
This priestess.
しぶとさには自信があるぞ。
それは我々も知るところです。今こうして立ち話をしていることが何よりの証拠ですから。
Oh boy.
波の人間であれば 今頃は寝たきりで延命装置につながれていたはずです。
そうか、礼を言う。
いただきます。
そろそろ失礼させてもらうとしよう。かわいそうな部下たちを待たせているからな。とにかく助かった。恩はいずれ必ず返す。
You shouldn't say all you want though. Commander leaves the room.
別れ際の挨拶もなしか。VTC の連中は不愛想にも程があるな。ん？なんだ？ドアが開かないぞ。壊れてるんじゃないか。
そうですね。
冗談はやめろ。何を企んで。
The BTC priestess tasers the commander. Drops to the floor without so much
アン
as.
チェインドは、そう、私たちにとっても失われたテクノロジーですので、貴重なサンプルを見逃すことはできません。
And you kidnap the commander? Door open and the central government soldiers enters. They tell the fallen commander and leaves him out.
加減しろ。私は重傷者だぞ。
実験室へ向かいます。人類の未来のため、積極的な献血にご協力を。
Oh boy.
やめてくれ。戻らなければならないんだ。部下たちとラプチャーを食い止めないと。それが終わればいくらでも協力する。解放してくれ。
ご案内を。
Central government soldiers drags the commander away. The commander jerks his head back dead. Then when he hits to the side, crunch. Sound of breaking bones echoes as the soldier's nose crumbles under the impact. Commander drives his shoulders into another soldier's jaw. Another grisly snap rings out and the soldiers collapses.
二人ごときで私を止められると思うな。
Priestess fires the taser once again. Commander slumps weakly to the ground. The VTC priestess steps forward to check the commander's vital and breathe.
命の危険を心配しましたが、気絶で済みましたか。怪物はどちらでしょうね。
It's so weird that she still allowed him to wake up and move around. If they wanted the blood, they could have dealt with him. But, right? That doesn't make sense, does it? What part of that makes sense? Like seriously, what part of that makes sense? The real enemy is the VTC, right? I'm gonna predict that's what the real enemy is. VTC. The commander opens his eyes. The VTC priestess sits across from him.
ずいぶん念入りに縛ったようだな。
鎮静剤も投与してあります。
そうでも捕まえたつもりか？
同じようなものです。鎮静剤の影響下でなおこうして会話できるのですから。
それでどうするつもりだ？
あなたの血液を研究し、アンチェインドの量産技術を確立させます。
血を大量に抜かれたら私でも死ぬぞ。
死なない程度にしますのでご心配なく。
少しずつ渡すだけでいいな。ここまでしなくても協力した。
十分なサンプルの確保が絶対ですので。
わからん。なぜそう必死になるのか知らない。私はゴッデスの指揮官なんだ。
Such a TZ. Yeah, I'm sorry. The game will obviously start lagging every once in a while. I have no idea how to fix it, I'll be honest.
アークの封鎖計画が進行中で、その防衛作戦を遂行している。私が戻らなければ、数千、いや、数万という人が死ぬ。
Oh boy. The client is crashing again.
そうでしたか。
どうでもいいと。
ええ。人類の敗北はすでに決まったことです。主要な人員は第一次封鎖の時点でアークへ収容されました。アークの維持は問題なく行えます。それでもあえて第3次まで計画を継続しようとしているのはあくまで愚かな民衆への施しです。
第3次まで。第4次と第5次はどうしたまさか第3次で切り上げるつもりなのか。
ラプチャーはすでにヘレティックの量産化を始めました。これ以上時間をかければアークが危険にさらされます。アークの民を守らなければなりません。
ずいぶんお優しいことだな、慈悲深き VTC は。
お褒めの言葉と受け取っておきます。
ゴッデスを失うかもしれないんだぞ。それさえ知ったことではないと。
技術は進歩するものです。すでに性能面でフェアリーテールモデルに遅れを取らない次世代型が完成しています。
性能だけで何でも解決できるなんて思い上がりだ。
戦争の体制はすでに決し、敗れた人類は地下へ逃れます。脳ある者たちは未来へ備える必要があるのです。いつか来たるべき反撃の時のために。
Wait, I got a new theory right now. The reason the commander disappeared was because he took down the VTC with him, isn't it? That's the only other plan that could have happened. From what we have seen thus far, it seems like that's the most probable case. He took down the VTC with him. Or at least it feels definitely like it.
あなたの血もその礎の一部となるでしょ
う。分かった、部下1号君。君と話すことはもうない。上司を呼んできたまえ。話のレベルが合う相手が必要だ。
いいえ、この件はすでに上層部、いえ、最上層からの承認を受けています。
あいつか。君たちが成果とか呼んでいる。
その通りです。
引かれたカルト宗教家どもが。
言葉をお慎みください。
クソくらいだ。
死
にかけの身でいちいち言葉を選んでいられると思うのか。
一理ありますね。
解放しろ、早く。
それはできません。
サイン色紙をプレゼントしてやろう。
結構です。
わかった。ツーショット写真も撮ってやる。
不要です。
仕方ないな。二人きりのディナー券でどうだ。
必要はありません。
ディナーで。
シーサイ様、失礼いたします。
何のようです。誰も入るなと言っておいたはずです。
申し訳ございません。ですが、緊急事態です。
What is here?
緊急事態？
A central government soldier approaches the VTC priestess and whisper. Her face twists and contorts.
どういうことです？
外にお待たせしています。
少々失礼します。お話の続きは後ほど。
どうした？成果がお亡くなりか？いつくたばってもおかしくない様子だったからな。
Holy! Wow!
はあ？当たりか？空見ろ。言っただろ。ろくでもないことに手を出すからだ。
A grim expression, the priestess leaves the room, accompanied by the soldier. Door opens and closes behind them. The commander strains his ears, listening to the sounds beyond the door. The priestess raises her voice, gradually getting louder until she is nearly shouting. The commander's only regret is that he can't step outside and revel in her misery. He goes quiet outside. A loud noise echoes, fairly audible even through the door. The commander recognizes the sound from his days as a mercenary. It's the sound of a bone breaking. What? Is this Lilywise? The door opens. A central government soldier walks in and stops before him.
覚えていらっしゃいますか？
いつぞや廊下であった小隊長くんだな。助けに来てくれたのか？
そうです。少々お待ちください。
Did that even work though? The platoon leader's hand moved quickly.
今すぐほどいて差し上げます。もう少しの辛抱です。
何があったんだ？なぜここに来た？
本部から派遣されました。ここにいらっしゃるという話を聞いてご挨拶しようと思っていたんです。あまりに様子がおかしかったので不可解に思っていたのですが、ドアの向こうから話が聞こえてしまいましたので。
君は VTC 側の人間だろ？それもかなり信心深い。
はい、洗礼名も授かっております。
裏切って平気なのか？
ゴッテスは私の信仰に勝るものです。
Snap a priestess neck?
ほどけました。立てますか？
Wait, what?
くそ、全身が痛むな。
Wait, what? Oh! What does enemy within me now stands for? BTC? Wait. I didn't think the argument would lead into neck snapping. That's how to say it? Next level. Quite literally next level. Oh, this is There are a few things we I'd like to think of, right? Snapping off the priestess head would mean basically everybody's dirty laundry is coming out in the open. That's what it means by enemy within, right? Because when all the dirty laundry are aired out, you know who are the antagonists. That is the only point where I feel like that could be the case, no? Quite literally. Okay.
それでもすごいことです。こんな体でどうやって。行きましょう。支えます。ここをまっすぐ行けば格納庫です。私が乗ってきた ATV があります。
ああ、助かる。
Who's coming? Footsteps. Echo in the
さすがに
distance.
気づかれたか。敵など想定してないのだろうが、油断のしすぎだな。10人以上。足音からして武装しているようだ。君、余分な銃はあるか？拳銃でも構わん。一発で当てられる。
少々お待ちを。
Yeah, true, he doesn't miss though. The platoon leader ramages through his
こ
jacket.
れを ATV のキーです。
頼んだものと違うな。君、まさか。
お急ぎください。
それより銃をくれ。私がその気になれば全員簡単に倒せる。
ここは VTC の主要施設の一つです。無人兵器がありますし、ニケも大勢います。無敵の指揮官と存じてはおりますが、体にそんな穴が開いた状態では別でしょう。
ピンピンしているぞ。見ればわかるだろう。
異常な量の発汗が認められますし、顔色も死人同然です。ゴッテスが待っているのでしょう。彼女たちにはあなたが必要です。人類よ、どうかお願いします。
I feel like he wouldn't be able to leave though. I still think he wouldn't be able to get out even if that happens. Did we ever receive the statement that he ever went back after this incident? No, right? He was completely locked out, right? I assume phase 3 would be, by the time he reaches out, the steel gate procedure has proceeded to the point where he wouldn't be able to leave. This is what I'm predicting right now, because we know that they are going to cut short the thing, right? It's long stated, long awaited that they're going to cut short the freaking evacuation. So generally speaking, I think at this point, we're gonna see him fail again. Not saying it's a bad thing, okay, but likely. Platoon leader salute.
人類のために戦うゴッテス部隊に感謝。
Commander returns the leader pivots and runs, disappearing down the vent in the corridor. Gunfire erupts. Commander pushes his unresponsive body to obey and sprints forward. Sprints. A depiction of hope. The Ark's entrance. Order squad in the commander's
こ
room.
の話本当ですか？
冗談で言うことだと思うか。
普通の人じゃないとは思ってましたけど、そんな秘密があったなんて想像もしていませんでした。
まったくだな。伝説の勇者にでもなった気分だ。
知ってはいましたが、VTC は恐れ知らずですね。ゴッデスの指揮官を誘拐するなんて。恐れ知らずというより正気じゃない。
あいつらがおかしいのは昔からだろ。今回とうとう私が狙われたというだけだ。
制裁しておきますか？
いや、今は1秒でも欲しい。
ですが、諦めたとは思えません。
大丈夫だ。ここにはまともな連中しかいない。
Everyone here
い
is
くら VTC の狂信者どもでも軽々しく手出しはできないだろう。それに今この状況で奴らのことまで気にかけている余裕はない。
ゴッデスの指揮官を連れ去って実験体にしようとした相手です。次に何をしてくるかなんてわかりますか？
私や私たちの中の誰かに懲りもせずまた手出しをするような、その時は VTC を潰してやろう。物理的にな。この話はここまでだ。続けても頭が痛くなるだけだからな。
Wait, does he has that much power to destroy the VTC up front? I find that not very possible though. Don't they have so much shadowy espionages and stuff in the background? Would that really be enough, you know? I highly doubt it. Quite literally, actually. Highly doubt it. Okay. You.
それよりもっと重大な問題がある。
封鎖が第3次で切り上げという話ですね。
ああ、中央政府も VTC も第5次まで続ける気はないらしい。狂ったやつから聞かされた話だが、理解できない選択ではない。こちらは限界まで消耗している。ラプチャーは疲れる気配すらない。侵食能力を持ったラプチャーが暴れて、士気も底をついている。その上で、あの量産型ヘレティック。決定打に近い。新兵器の出現だ。次世代の兵器と言っていい。今後はさらに増えるだろう。これ以上長引かせれば、アーク自体が危険にさらされる。もはや猶予はない。
私たちはどうすればいいでしょ
う。やりたいようにやればいい。君も、あいつらもな。
私のしたいことはもう決まっています。賛成してくれるかはわかりませんけど。
何を言ってるんだ。私と君とで育ててきたんじゃないか。分かってくれるさ。
Damn, mom.
3時で封鎖計画が打ち切りだと。
5回でも足りないと思ったぐらいでしたが、さらに減らされるなんて。それでは第5次まであると期待している方々は
公式な発表は行われるのですか？
しないだろうな。
では私たちの撤収は？
第3次の予定だ。君たちが望めばだな。
他に選択肢があるかのような言い方ですね。
選択肢はいつだってある。私たちは今までそういうやり方を貫いてきただろう。やりたいようにやって最高の結果を出す。
ほう。選択肢とはつまり
でしたら、
どうしたのスノーホワイト。
So I lock eyes with everyone, gauging the situation. Then it hits her. Everyone feels the same as she.
何か言いたいことがあるんじゃない？私たちはこのまま地上に残りましょう。第3次封鎖が終わった後も助けを求めてくる人たちのために私たちはここに残り、その人たちを守ってアークへ送るんです。
いつまで
？2週間一人も来なくなった時としましょう。
なんだそれは。13日ごとに1人ずつ来たらどうする
続けるだけです。
アークは第3次の作戦後に完全封鎖されるの。どうやって送るつもり？
私たちが保護し、私たちと共にアークへ向かいます。
何千人と集まってきたらどうする？
全員を守ります。そして全員でアークへ向かいます。
私たちでも通してもらえなかったら。
あるわけなかろう。私たちはゴッテスだ。己で言うのもはばかられるが、神話にも肩を並べる名がある。一度ぐらい道が開かれぬ道理はあるまい。そのことはお二人が責任を持って保証されるようにしてください。
Two of you step up and guarantee our safety. The two figureheads. Well, we already know the fate of the two figureheads. One went missing, one was RIP, right? So Dorothy overly optimistic, huh? Well, I mean that's probably why she always have a pessimistic outlook, I guess. More relatable to us. It's easier to see what you're in than to see what is the possible outcomes which you can wiggle yourself out from. What is it?
では話をまとめよう。私たちは第3次封鎖の時点で撤収しない。この場に防衛戦を展開し、取り残された者やニケの保護を続ける。2週間の間に誰も逃れてこなければ、保護した者たちを連れてアークへ向かう。その時に限りアークへの道が開放されるよう、私とリリスが話をつけておく。これでいいか？
はい。
問題ありません。
きれいにまとめてくださいました。それぐらいは当然であろう。
無謀な作戦になるぞ。物資の心配以外にも問題は山ほどある。精神も体も限界が試されるだろう。だからこそ私たちにしかできないことだ。決まったな。私たちはここに残る。最後まで守り抜くぞ。
一つ約束していただけますか？
なんだ？
私たちがアークへたどり着いた時、すべての苦難が報われたと思えるようにしてください。どのような形でも構いません。
ああ、最善を尽くそう。いや、約束する。宮殿のような豪邸に住み、使っても使い切れない金を持ち、私たちの伝記を出版して映画とゲームも作らせよう。君の名前の宗教を始めよう。
あらあら。
政治の世界で 華々しいデビューを果たそう。
Yeah,
エ
sounds
リ
like
シオン、
who?
ミシリス、ペトラに肩を並べるスノー社も立ち上げよう。剣の道場も建てよ
なんだいそれは。
う。メカゴリラ動物園も建てるぞ。それから両脇に美女を抱えて酒を飲んでやる。
Oh my god.
それから
Lily White is
勝
not
利の女神として称えられよ。
butting in.
私たちの地上最後の戦いだ。最も辛く、最も長い作戦になるだろう。全員、しっかりと休んでおいてくれ。
指揮官、お姉ちゃん、部隊のみんなで行きたいところがあるんですけど。
Is it a tree?
皆さん、お時間はありますか？
This is a depiction of hope for a reason. Okay. Oswald. The call from an unknown number. Oswald has entrusted the arc sealing operations to a reliable subordinate. It is a procedural task that follows a manual after all. Authorization can be granted from any. However, receiving a call from an unknown number at a time like this means something has suddenly changed. Perhaps the originally assigned contract cannot be reached. So presses the button and answers.
私です。
おじさん。おじさんはいつ来るの？
この番号は誰に教えてもらったのですか？
あの時書類を渡した兵士のおじさん。電話も貸してもらったの。おじさん、いつ戻ってくるの？2
回目で行く約束だったでしょう。なぜ残っているのですか？
おじさんと話せなくなっちゃうでしょ。
Why didn't you go down during the second phase like I told you to? Are we gonna feel Oswald's regret another time? No, what? You know my gut feeling that says that Frisia never actually got down. My gut feeling is telling me that that's gonna happen. 100% at this point. Because they're building up Frisia too much. And we didn't see Frisia being turned to a Nikke. We didn't see Frisia's, you know, no, there's something wrong, something off. All because Oswald is not willing to give a hope, basically. Gave hope and he didn't fully extend the hope, and then just lingered and then just left. That's kind of shitty. That's true. You know, a lot of people rated Oswald higher. I actually didn't rate Oswald that high. Even from my understanding, I think Oswald he's okay. He's not the best of people, but he's very flawed. But precisely because of all of the shit that has been done, I can say that he's not that good of a person. You can clearly see that there are people that are better. Like Mustang is better, albeit he has done bad shit as well, right? Like, I prefer Mustang over Oswald. Also a bit unfair, but then again, Oswald is meant to be a more historical, important character. Yeah, a lot of the shit. Obviously, the commander Oswald doesn't really have a choice but to dance in the tune, compared to like VTC, compared to the other central government officers. So yeah.
どうしてこっちにいなくなっちゃったの？
大事な仕事ができたからです。
そうだったんだ。おじさん。私、3回目で
Please go down. Please go down.
ずっとここにいたら、兵士のおじさんたちにも迷惑かけちゃうし。だから、次で行くね。
しっかり考えたようですね。
だからお別れの挨拶がしたかったの。あ、 違う、お別れじゃないや。またねの挨拶。先に行って待ってるから、絶対来てね。ね。
フリージャ、私は。
じゃあ切るね。またね。
Is Osmo not allowed to go down? Was his directive basically cut off at 3? Hold back the people in 4 and 5 and be stranded outside as his repent? That it? Oswald calls back the number.
私への連絡方法を教えるなど、どのような意図があってのことですか？
申し訳ございません。急な任務で離れられていることは承知しておりましたが、その
正当な理由が必要だと言っています。この連絡先は個人のものではありません。中央政府の公務に要するものです。民間人に流出させることは
重々承知しております。ですが、あの子が一日中特務室長のいらっしゃった場所に座り込んでおりまして、来るまで待つと言ってその場を離れようとしないものですから。
それは私の連絡先を。
お言葉ですが、特務室長、まだ子供ではありませんか。あんな小さい子が今にも泣き出しそうな顔をしておりました。それをこらえて言うんですよ。おじさんはどこですか？一回だけでいいから電話させてくださいなんて。あんなものを見たら他にどうしようも。
You call directly.
大変申し訳ございませんでした。すべては私の一存です。いかなる処分も。
わかりました。今後は十分注意してください。いきさつは理解できました。あなたの心情も含めて。
恐れ入ります。
一つ
Not by the boat.
頼み事を聞いていただけますか？
はい、何でもお申し付けください。
第3次封鎖の際、あの子が必ずエレベーターに乗るようにしてください。直接誘導する必要はありません。乗っていることだけ確認していただければ結構です。
Just
乗らないよ
confirm.
うなら私の名前を使ってください。何を言っても構いません。
了解しました。必ず。
はい、よろしくお願いします。
こちらこそ失礼いたします。
He knows, isn't it? He knows the
本
plan.
当に何を考えているのか。
Oswald studies the report displayed on his phone screen.
ヘレティック・アナキオールは脱走。
Huh?
そしてレッドシューズが死亡。それ以降アナキオールは何の動きも見せていない。何らかの意図が。しかしヘレティックの意図とは、シンデレラはエイブが心血を注いだ傑作。おそらく単なる性能の話にとどまらない。それにアンチェインド、ナノマシンを破壊すると言っていたか。
Oswald makes a call.
私です。第2世代を全員集合させてアナキオールを追撃します。備えておいてください。間違いなく私たちの知らない何かがあります。例の旧 VTC 研究室の方は。わかりました。引き続きお願いします。最悪の場合、人類を裏切った者がいるかもしれません。はい、よろしくお願いします。
Traitor within. Oswald hangs up.
行くとしましょうか。
His true plan? Well, we know BTC was purged after all, so. But. Man. White flowers. I feel like this is gonna be thumbnail worthy again, so yeah, probably post-stream thumbnail. Only white flowers and nothing else. The field of white blossoms radiates under the sunlight. The wind carries the petals away. Another gust of wind blows. Lily-White, unaware of a petal brushing her cheek, continues to gaze at the white surface.
絶景だな。近くにこんな場所があったのか。
ずっと前に見つけました。まだ残ってるか心配してたんですけど、あってよかったです。
A petal floats down and lands on Dorothy's palm.
リリー・バイス。私の名前、この花から取ったんだって。
花言葉は純粋な愛と献身。
お姉ちゃんにぴったりですよね。
見事なものだ。一人で見るにはもったいない。
その通りですね。こんな景色は本当に久しぶりです。
スノーホワイト、考えたらみんなで一緒にこういう景色を見に来たことってなかったなって思ったんです。最近は特にずっと。だからみんなで見たかったんです。
最後の戦いを控えてということか？
そういうわけじゃありません。最後の戦いなんて言い方じゃ不吉ですよ。もうすぐ寒くなったら花がみんな枯れてしまうんです。一番綺麗な時を目に焼き付けておきたかったので、みんなで。
Lily-White walks forward. Snow White gaze follows her. Lost in thought, Lily-White starts to disappear into farther and farther still. Snow White feels like bursting. But she does not cry. Follows the lump in the strains to suppress the sting in her nostril.
本当に綺麗。夢の中にいるみたい。
Lily-White turns back to look at everyone. Her face slightly flushed with excitement. There's a bright smile. Strong wind. White petals burst into the air and scatters everywhere. The ground and even the sky radiates a brilliant white glow. The ice collapses, sinking beneath the field of flowers. Snow White feels her heart plummet.
転んじゃった。
Rise rises, white petals covers her entire body. Snow White is as if she's wearing a bridal veil. The wind blows again. Petal whirls and dances around you. Eyes widen. He dances with the petals, duck out too. In the dreamlike scene, Lily-White laughs like a child. This is gonna be the thumbnail. Snow White sees her and bursts into laughter. Huh. Aww. Try. The perfect time to play Blue Destination. Not gonna lie.
スノーホワイト。
I could make a happy thumbnail and I could make a sad thumbnail.
Snow White, ありがとう。
Oh, that's so fast. Snow White forces a smile and waves at Lilywise. She doesn't shed a single tear. She doesn't even blink. She tries to capture this fairy tale dream with her eyes for as long as she to imprint it into her mind. Snow White gazes at Lilywise, and Lilywise, the flower, unable to look away. What a beautiful white flower. The most beautiful white flower that was soon with. So I guess the corrupted Lilywise is basically a fully withered flower, right? Get it? It's black. It could be just a black Lilywise, no? It could definitely be just a black Lilywise. A heavy silence looms over the plaza, filled with mass-produced Nikke. Everyone is staring at the papers in their hands. They outline the final phase of Operation Ark Guardian. Numerous written warnings fill the margins. Stealing will end at phase 3. The goddess spot will remain on the surface. Protect the latecomers, returning to the Ark at a later date. Any mass-produced Nikkes who wishes to join the operations may do so voluntarily. The paper details the numerous risks each volunteer might face. So Pina is one of the people who will stay back. The goddess. At the bottom of the paper is a signature line. Joining is a suicide mission, and it's nearly guaranteed they would lose their lives. As mass-produced Nikkes, they are fully aware of this truth, and therefore remain silent. The profound silence, the sound of a pen signing resonates loudly. Loud enough for nearly every Nikke gathered in the plaza to hear. One mass-produced Nikke rises.
署名済みの書類は前に提出すればよろしいでしょうか。
I mean, to be fair, it makes sense. Squad leader, caught off guard, gives a nod. He walks forward, sets the documents down, hands back. Proud Nikke looks at her. She's a mass-produced Nikke related to borders, right? So that means her information should also be scrubbed from the system. I feel like they're just trying to let us drop our guard down, being that she directly wants to tie herself to Ark Guardian as well as the Goddess Squad.
Goddess と共に
He heads back to her dorm.
Goddess と共に
Soon the sound of signatures being written fills the plaza.
Yosh. 第3次封鎖が始まった。早速だが、いい知らせと悪い知らせがある。どちらから聞きたい？
悪い知らせからお願いします。
軌道エレベーターに集結していた精鋭ラプチャーの大多数がこちらへ向かっているらしい。これで最後だと感づかれたのかどうかは知らないが、とどめを刺そうという気だろう。
それは最悪の知らせですね。それでいい知らせの方は？
今朝は快便だった。
そうですか。よかったですね。
朗報ならあるぞ。私とラプンツェルの新しい装備だ。
Oh! I was like, wait, that Rapunzel looks different. Then I look at Scarlet. Hey, Scarlet is no longer in black and red. She's in her new outfit.
はい。戦力の向上になりますね。
うん。よく似合ってる。性能を大幅に上げられました。防御力には特に重点を置いています。
そうなのか？それにしては軽い気がするが、具体的には？
細かい数値は出ませんけど、2倍以上になったはずです。
Yes, you gave them more defense by reducing coverage. Anime logic, okay?
ほう、2倍撃たれても良いということだな。
まず撃たれないようにしてください。
ドロシーとお姉ちゃんの装備は もう少し時間がかかりそうです。ごめんなさい。
気にしないでください。今のままでも不足はありませんので。
そこは私も。
私の分は当然ないんだろうな。
はい。
生身の人間は辛いな、まったく。さあ、準備を始めろ。量産型ニケたちも全員が志願してくれたそうだ。一人残らずな。頼もしいことだ。戦うのは私たちだけじゃない。だからかっこいいところを見せつけてやれ。
もちろんです。
よし、参ろう。
皆さん行きましょう。
みんな死なないでください。
当然です。
ゴッテス部隊レディエンカウンター。
Encounter. Okay, how many more? We have 5 more. Let's continue. A thunderous roar erupts as something thrusts up. The Tyrant class raptures. Ultra shoots into the air. Its abdomen caves in and fluids scatter as it moves through the air. After briefly tracing an arc through the air, Ultra crashes to the ground and crumples, a sickening sound. Even amidst a battlefield filled with raptures, the sight can be seen and heard from everywhere. Little Eyes dusts off and admires her handiwork.
見せつけないといけませんから。ゴッデスのリリーバイスはここだって。
ラプチャーどもには関係ないだろ。士気なんてものを持つだけの知能がないからな。
味方の方に見せるためです。
そうだな。素晴らしいショーマンシップだ。
The wife wipes the lukewarm liquid flowing from somewhere on her face. There's no need for her to check. She already knows what it is.
お願い。もう少しだけ耐えて。
リルさ
ん。どうかしました？そんなにカッコつけて私を呼ぶなんて。
この作戦が終わった。どこかへ遊びに行こ
う。ちょっと私を死なせる気ですか？戦闘中にそんな話。
お決まりの展開は破るためにある。
まあいいですけど、どこにします？
そうだな。海はどう
だ？いいですね。そうしましょう。
グレン、調子はどうだ？
言うまでもない。こうも体が軽いとは。今の私ならリリスを超える。
もう5回以上攻撃を受けているようだが。
数字に弱いのか？ 2 回と半分だ。防御力が2倍になっているのだからな。
数え方がおかしいだ
ろ。量産型ヘレティックとやらはまだ姿を見せぬのか？
まだだ。だがもうすぐ来る。
こちらでまとめて相手してやろう。リリー・バイスとドロシーには手出し無用と伝えておけ。
わかった。そちらは君一人に全て任せる。新手の出現だ。ミサイル搭載型が。狙いは量産型部隊だろうな。
一匹残らず切り倒してくれる。
不要だ。ラプンツェルがいる。
There we are. A shower of missiles races an arc as they rain down upon the field. Multiple bombardment-type raptures shell the mass-produced Nikke's lines. Banzo steps forward with a prayer-like chant. She raises her staff. A golden veil descends. Missiles rain down and explodes against the golden veil.
こんなことまでできるのですね。
使いこなせているようだ。
この程度ではありません。この力があれば今度こそ。
よし、目指すは犠牲者ゼロだ。
はい。
A golden glow surges from Rapunzel's staff, skims through the ranks of raptures, triggering a series of explosions.
見ましたか？攻撃の出力も大幅に上がっています。
スノーホワイトめ、とんでもないものを仕上げてきた。
私の分を先にするよう頼んでおけばよかったですね。
だったら普段からもう少し仲良くしておけ。
仲の良さで優先順位を決めたわけではないことくらいわかります。す ノーホワイトはもう動いています。ちゃんとできるよね。自分で言い出したことです。必ず手伝わなくても大丈夫かな。任せておきましょう。彼女ならできます。
ああ、今はそちらを気にしている場合じゃない。ストームブリンガーと多数の飛行型が確認された。量産型ヘレティックも5体。後ろで様子を伺っていた奴らも動き出した。勝負を仕掛けてくる気のようだ。
数では圧倒されていますね。
だからこそ一発逆転を決めるしかない。
スノーホワイトが遅れないことを祈りましょう。
そのスノーホワイトはどこへ行ったのだ。最初からおらぬことは知っていたが。
Wait. Oh, so Snow White also finished her own gear. This is her 7 draws 5, right? Previously, she was only using 7 draws 3? I need to recheck what's her skill.
どこかで油を売っているのではあるまいな。最近の若い者はだらしがない。
作戦会議を聞いていなかったようですね。
何か私より弱き者の話など聞かぬのでな。
Snow White is weak.
スノーホワイトはですね。
かっぱらいに行ったんだ。
カッパラ
Do something.
何をな。
空飛ぶ船。
何
The hum of a massive engine comes rolling in, and Scarlet looks up towards the sky.
勝利の翼号。
The wings of
ス
victory
ノーホワイトお
is
よび
taken back.
翼号合流します。
敵を一掃しろ。
Wait, that's the wings of victory? This was their flagship? So far we only saw it during Sora's event, right? And even then... That's a battleship class. That is a battleship class. Ah crap. I press it. I hold it too high. Doing live cropping, by the way. Imagine I just say this is Wings of Victory. Then it just makes sense. Because it's not even Sora's event. Just that when you think of Wings of Victory, you'll be tied to Sora event. That's basically what it is. The main cannon of the Wings of Victory fires. The colossal beam floods the field, leaving nothing in its wake. It resembles the act of erasing a canvas covered in scribbled pencil
い
lines.
いぞ。素晴らしい性能だ。やはり空飛ぶ船ほどのロマンはない。そのままだ。続けろ。
攻撃を継続します。
The beam slices across the battlefield. Lilywise looks up. He wishes that time would stop in this moment. Why? The beginning of the end.
こんなデカブツよく盗み出せたな。
銃があるのだ。たやすいことだろ。
あれ指揮官が話をつけておいてくださってたんじゃないんですか。
所有権は VTC と中央政府が5割ずつのはずだ。私一人が何を言っても通らないぞ。そのせいでアークに回収すると言われた時も何もできなかったんだ。
普通にブリッジまで通してもらいましたけど。
話のわかるやつがいたということだな。持つべきものはやはり味方だ。
一人で動かせるものなのですか。
知らなかったか。スノーホワイトは設計に大きく関わっているからな。
え、そうだったのですか。
Huh?
ああ、一人で操縦するぐらいわけもないだろう。
いえ、量産型の皆さんに協力してもらっているんです。さすがに一人で動かせるものじゃないですよ。
ほう、そうだったのか。
分け知り顔の割に先ほどから何もあっていないような。
持っているものは何名いる。
私も入れて20人ぐらいです。
よし、ならノルマは一人当たり100機だ。
はい、頑張ります。
100 each, so to 20,000. As the Wings of Victory joins the battle, the tide begins to change. High altitude area strikers rain down upon the battlefield, sending great swaths of raptures flying. Otherwise, is finally able to catch her breath. Her hands shake, her visions blur.
早い。思ったより。
リリス、戻れ。
まだです。もう少し行けます。
今を逃せば休めないぞ。スノーホワイトが作った時間だ。早く来い。
わかりました。じゃあ、ちょっとだけ。
The wife stands beside the commander.
相変わらず、外での指揮がお好きですね。たまには、司令塔や管制室を使ったらどうです？
性に合わん。面白くもないしな。
それはそうですね。
ほら、吹け。
Commander hands her a towel. The wife takes it and wipes her face. Thick globes of blood sticks to the towel.
少し休め。水は？
いいえ、大丈夫です。そういう指揮官こそ脇腹に穴が開いたままなのに平気な顔で。指揮官、顔色どうしたんですか？それにすごい汗。
昨日ちょっと飲みすぎたせいだ。
作戦前には飲まないでしょ。
気分を変えたい時もある。
治療終わってないんですね。
ボス、
もう治った。
指揮官、死にますよ。私と一緒に死ぬ気ですか？
それも悪くないな。
あの子たちには指揮官が必要です。
いや、そんなことはないさ。
Irresponsible father, dude.
リリス、あいつらはもう私たちがいなくても大丈夫だ。
The wife looks across the battlefield. Each of them is valiantly holding their positions.
どうだ？立派だろ？私たちで育てたんだ。
私からしたらみんなまだ子供です。
傲慢だな。
指揮官、治療を受けてください。
平気だ。死にはしない。
死にます。
Commander retches.
指揮官、
耳元で大声を出した。内臓がびっくりしただろ。
指揮官は生きなければならない方です。治療を受けてください。
ああ、この戦いが終わったらな。
いいえ、今すぐ。
お前には言われたくない。戦場に未練タラタラで無理して戦い続けてるくせにどの口が言うんだ。私は死なない。生きて君たちとアークへ凱旋する。そうして素晴らしい余生を過ごすんだ。みんなで一緒にな。
はい、必ず。約束です。
ああ、約束だ。
Boss.
行ってきます。
The wife straightens her clothes, puts on her glove, and fixes her hair. And they did remove the blood stain. Just a minor, minor thing. Hello, the title and game Twitch is saying you're playing Don't Match. Really? Oh right, I forgot. Thank you very much. There we go. Yeah, sometimes I forgot to change that. Yeah, thank you very much, Rip. Well, actually, that's a very apt name for this situation because someone's going to be RIP. Lilywise runs, and the commander watches her dazedly.
スノーホワイト、ストームブリンガーの大軍が向かっています。20機以上交代してください。
Stormbringer.
勝利の翼号でも。
This house shadows violently. House shadows violently. A swarm of Stormbringers surrounds the wings of victory. Oh no.
スノーホワイト交代を。下がってください。逃げ。このままストームブリンガーを引きつけて戦場から離脱します。何を言っているのです。でもストームブリンガーを戦場から引き剥がさないとこちらが一方的に不利になります。私たちで一掃します。
差し違える気か。無茶な真似はよせ。
私が行く。待ってて。来ないでください。必ず戻ります。心配しないでください。絶対に戻りますから。
Snow White shouts into the bridge communication device.
皆さんごめんなさい。私と一緒に命をかけてください。
Flames erupt from the engines of the Wings of Victory. The aircraft opens fire on the Stormbringer swarm and begins to pull away from the defensive line. And then it vanishes beyond the horizon. Just like trails beyond the horizon. Just like trails beyond the horizon. The white that covers all. So now we know, right? The Wings of Victory that was taken out was last driven by Snow White. The commander could easily ask Snow White now that she shares his memories, no? Not that they have the capability to repair it, lah. I think it feels not probable. Gunfire rings out. Snow White opens her eyes. Amidst the gunfire, something sizzles. Snow White pushes herself up. Her body feels heavy as if something is weighing her down. She pulls herself up with effort. What covered her body falls to the ground. They are Nikke's, battered to a wreck. Their backs are a complete mess. There is no doubt that they died while shielding her. Snow White turns her head. The Wings of Victory, once the pride of the Goddess Squad and ruler of the skies, has crashed. Nothing more than a flaming pile of wreckage. She turns her head again. Mass-produced Nikkes are firing straight ahead. The Raptures are swarming in. Shells fall to the ground. One mass-produced Nikke looks at Snow White while taking aim, gives a wry smile and nods, right as a Rapture's beam cannon decapitates her. Everyone collapses soon after. Snow White watches the Raptures as they close in. She raises her weapons with shaking hands, the muzzles waver. Every round goes wide. Her comrades have fallen. The Wings of Victory lies in ruins. Her own body is in tatters. The field is so densely packed with Raptures, they blot out everything else. Snow White shoots the communication device and destroys it. It looks at the oncoming Raptures.
私がやるしかない。私はゴッテスなんだ。やるしかない。でも怖い。怖くてたまらない。どうすればいい？私に何ができる？怖いよ。お姉ちゃん、レッドフード、助けて。私はここ。やっぱり来ないでください。お お姉ちゃん、ここは私に任せて。
Oh,
逃げ出したい、ここから。
two versions of herself.
でも
Mind switch.
でも逃げるわけにはいかない。みんなが戦ってる。リリスお姉ちゃんが戦ってる。私がやるんだ。自分が私が一人でできるよね。ゴッテスの一員でしょ。たとえ自分を捨ててでも私がやるしかない。
The white that covers all. I'm thinking of what white means here, but I think the white means is probably a part of. Is this just a waifu game? Yeah, it's a waifu game. It's a gacha game, right? Alright, YouTube doesn't like gacha right now, so it's a shooting game that you look at the girls from the back. Yes, I don't know why they use that as a description. That's horrible. But yeah. Sorry, I was just focusing on the story. It feels like this is the point in time where she mind switches, I think, to be the stable sniper slash DPS character. Honestly. Can you tell me I'm white? Mind switch, there we go. You see, I was anticipating the mind switch for a while because she hasn't reached mind switch status, but it's pretty on the mark that mind switch will happen very soon, right? Because it has been foreshadowed for so long. Damn. It's just damn. There's nothing to say that. We expected the mind switch to happen, but at this point, kind of painful. He said that the Nikke's mind breaks under extreme stress. In reality, it is Nim reorganizing the brain's data and emotion to escape an extreme situation. He analyzes the influx of inputs and rearranges them solely to escape the current situation. He discards what is deemed useless and preserves what is needed, amplifying it. This process results in a garbled data, leaving most in a state akin to madness. See, the NIM process has not really been well, I say advocated, right? But well described to us for a very long time. So that's what the NIM is doing when it's handling mind switch. It's basically reorganizing the consciousness. But because when it reorganizes, it may remove something important and just leave you in a state of madness. Potentially. So most mind switches are declared bad because of that. But how does the consciousness actually define what is needed? That's the thing, right? So this is our first real encounter with a mind switch explanation that feels satisfactory but yet loose enough that it's also insufficient in information. Though honestly, it has never been properly stated in the most case. Like mind switch, what do you say? What do you think of when you think of the word mind switch on first glance, right? All the while, throughout the past 2 years, mind switch was basically something that happens under extreme stress that people just cannot handle, and then it wasn't really the NIM that handled. People thought it was the psyche, the Nikke's own consciousness, that basically it's like how people do, you know, whenever there's trauma, people handle this, right? They just push it to the side and forget. But or sometimes it just, you have a complete breakdown to this point where you're a little bit gone, but never the point of madness unless you're considered, you know, not mentally sane, which that wouldn't called mind switch. That's just different, a different condition at this point, medically speaking. I believe anyway. That's how they consider it. So if we put that as mind switch, that was our initial interpretation of mind switch. Right? But now with this one, mind switch is handled by the nymph to reorganize their current brain for survival. Right, survival. Is it really just survival though? We still do not understand the nymph so much more, even after so many years and after so many environments. Oh gosh, the game is lagging. However, in rare cases, the rearranged data miraculously click into place, huh? What's the chance? What's the percentage? What's the percentile? It's a gacha? Feels like it, right? Snow White is one of those rare few Nikkes. Is it me or did Snow White orange eyes change a bit? The data in her head reassembles information on how to kill raptures, something she requires now. This is information is retained and amplified. Information on combat techniques, also essential at this moment. Keeps it and amplifies it. Information on weapons fabrication and modification, useful for improvisation and fights. Preserves it. Fear and hesitation. No, now the thing about Nim, right? The enemy also has Nim, no? That's how they get corruption put in, right? Not say the raptures, but the heretics. So that means that the Nim is actually providing them even more data to kill other Nikke and humans more efficiently? Is that why their combat power improves so much? A form of mind switch. Is the corruption code just a play on Nim to do mind switches to the point where it is in a broken state that is able to kill efficiently? Because that would kind of rewrite how we think about heretics as well, right? Now that we know mind switch is not born from own consciousness, but is from a Nim. We know Nim does memory rewrites, but we do not know Nim actually does mind switch. But Nikke experience mind switches often. And I don't remember whether they blame it on Nim. But I know they blame it on the individuals themselves unable to handle the stress. That's for sure. But also this is a... If I put this in as a thumbnail, that's gotta be freaky. I'm thinking whether to put it as a thumbnail now. Give me 6 seconds to decide. 6, 5. I think this is a bad thumbnail. Sorry. Black and white with yellow eyes. With something like this. That doesn't seem like a good thumbnail to choose, honestly. There are better thumbnails that are a little bit more beautiful, a little bit more colorful, but can still kind of feel the aura of the story, the sadness of the story. This is just not it, man. Yeah. They won't do her any good now. She discards them. Information on Dorothy, Rapunzel, Scarlet, and the mass-produced Nikkes. Not helpful now, but could be important for future battles. Gives it. You see? Important for future battles. What do you mean? Important to fight against them or important to fight with them? See? Now that we know how... Now that we have been talking about Nim for this like past 30 minutes, it's starting to build on top of itself. Like the answers and questions are gonna be... This is gonna push the next like law tubers, right? Nikke law tubers to the next level. I'm pretty sure. And I guess it makes sense why people are saying that this will answer a lot of questions. Arc Guardian was the last official kind of like a mission for the Goddess Squad. So okay, what did he say? The memory she has shared with them, however, will not mean that she discards them. Wait. She says she discards them, but in our current Goddess 4 Epic Lock event, she remembered a whole lot of it, right? So the memory that is discarded is not truly discarded, it's suppressed. So the wording they use actually doesn't make sense right now. Because it should be not be deleted and amplified, it should be suppressing and amplified. Unless there's other reasons why they use the word deleted. Could they be more mechanical? Could all the Nikkes be a clone of themselves to the point where even the... No, they have brains to a certain extent. But we never really delve into a brain, right? Other than we know there's a brain shelter. Or I guess their concept of brain could be just a name with something attached to a portion of the brain, I guess. That could also be a case. Then the word delete would still not come back as suppression though. Because clearly the memory was suppressed when we saw in Goddess 4. Is this a localization error, or is this hinting of something else more sinister? Information on the commander. This moment requires her to act independently. Orders are unnecessary. She discards it. Information on Red Hood. A deceased person. Oh my goodness. I can't believe you just write it that way. My goodness. Pain. Such information is of no help in the current situation. She discards it. Information on Littlewise. She will soon perish. Such information is of no help in the current situation. She discards it. Wait a minute. No. No, that cannot be the case, still. That cannot be the case. There's still another information we still do not have. I think after we look for this, how much information exactly did Snow White retain from this deletion in Goddess 4 Epic Log, right? We know she remembers Red Hood, we know she remembers Lillywise, but how much of the information is complete? How much did she regain? How much was it incomplete? And would her hesitation and fear come back? Because right now it's pushed down, right? But clearly it could come back. Because she reclaimed her memories. I feel like this is just setting up a death flag for Snow White. Snow White is one of the characters that has a death flag set from now. That is kind of F up actually. I have bad news, right? This is gonna be death flaggy. Oh my goodness. That's If I were the developers of Nikke, would I put a death flag and not use it? That's the thing. You see? This is clearly a death flag. Not for the current moment Snow White, but for our current timeline Snow White. Snow White's mind races as she sorts through these decisions at lightning speed. A life's goal. A happy future with everyone. Such information is of no help in the current situation. Discards it. Redefining life goals. Protect humanity. Defend the Ark. Team searches for methods to achieve this. A life's goal has been successfully redefined. Live. And kill the Rapture. That's why her kill the Rapture is so strong.
ラプチャー54機を確認。エンカウンター。
That's the normal voice. Snow White weapons breathes fire. Every shot targets the Rapture's course with terrifying precision. The instant her ammo runs low, she reloads and begins firing again. A Rapture strikes, pierces her left arm. It doesn't matter. She continues. Fire without issues. Something pulls at her legs, and she drops to her knees. It doesn't matter. She continues to fire without issues. Even as the Rapture's assaults intensifies, it doesn't matter. you can easily bring them down with the rounds she has. The guns and the hand gripping it are struck. Both her arms and legs are damaged. Spots the body of a mass-produced Nikke lying ahead. She rips off the hands parts and forces them onto herself. Draws another gun and fires. Keeps fighting. At the crash site of the Wings of Victory, the gunfire continues unabated. What do you mean you rip out the hand and then you plug it to yourself? That's not per se how you repair stuff. Unless they have something like a nano machine, but it requires active matter to generate. I don't think so, right? I think law-wise they didn't say how they patch up, is it? A battered mass-produced heretic kneels and looks up at Snow White. Snow White looks at her face. Red eyes, a face she recognizes from somewhere. The mass-produced heretic's head shatters. Her body follows suit, crumbling and vanishing. The raptures have been wiped out. Snow White checks her own body. The rack, not a single part is intact. She looks at the mass-produced Nikkes lying on the ground. I would rather not. She stares at the scattered fragment of the raptures before her. Drags her uncooperative body to it. Picks off the rapture parts. Looks back, the massive transport ship is engulfed in. Snow White takes the rapture's fragment and walks towards the crash. Dorothy halts with Lillywise on her back. The commander is missing from was supposed to be standing. Dorothy looks down. The commander has collapsed. Dorothy sets Lillywise down and approaches him. Live. But it seems like he could die any moment.
なんだどうかしたか
リリスの状態がよくありません。見ていていただけますか
ああ、そうか。わかった。任せておけ。誰にも見られていないな。
ええ。誰も見ていません。
そうか。よかった。士気が落ちたら問題だからな。早く前線に戻れ。勝利は目の前だ。
あとはお願いします。
ああ、心配するな。
リリス。また。後ほど。
Dorothy heads back to the battlefield.
リリス。
はい。
もういいだろ
う。私にはまだやるべきことがありますから。
Lillywise staggers to her feet. Looks up at the sky. Mass-produced heretics are staring down at her.
君と決着をつけに来たようだな。
Lillywise steadies herself.
相手してあげる。
That is still depressing. Okay, well, we shall enter the last and final stage. Scarlet Slash strikes the torso of a mass-produced heretic, but it abruptly halted mid-strike. He rips the blade free and lashes out wildly. The heretic takes every strike in a strike and proceeds to fire a beam. Scarlet barely manages to avoid it, a heart in her throat. The heretic walks towards her, slow and steady. The sight ignites her fury. Scarlet, filled with desperation, charges in. The heretic blocks the sword with an arm, then unleashes a beam. Scarlet tumbles across the ground, pours out blood, and uses the sword to push herself up. He leaps and brings her blade down. Seeing her sword caught in the heretic's hand, Scarlet feels a wave of despair. Another beam shoots out, sending her flying backwards once again. Scarlet's mind races as she drifts in and out of consciousness. Mind switch?
Ren、強くなりなさい。誰にも振り回されないように。
姉さんは強かった。なぜあれほど強くなれたのだ。
Scarlet lifts her head. The mass-produced heretic has disappeared from her view. Instead, she sees red petals drifting across the field. Whether it is real or hallucination is of little importance. Gazes at the petals as they drift carelessly in the wind.
なんと自由で思いのままに。
Mind switches as well?
ああ、まるで姉さんのようだ。腰の落ち着いた、常に気ままで余裕のある姿。私にはそれがとても強く美しく見えた。そうなりたいと願った。ならばそうあればよい。
Scarlet steadies her breathing. She clears her mind. The data in her head reset. She experienced a slight mind switch. However, in Scarlet's case, to manually do a mind switch by herself?
戦場というものはこのような景色だったのかい。それに剣がこれほどまでに軽いものとは知らなかったね。
For Scarlet, this mind switch is akin to transcendence.
さあ、続きといこう。
The heretic fires a beam. Scarlet dodges it effortlessly with a slight twist.
大きな一撃はすべてかわし、
The heretic closes in,
小
pressing
さ
for a
な
melee
絡
attack.
めては受け流す。
Scarlet deflects her opponent's incoming fist with the back of her blade, causing the latter to stagger. Then gripping, quickly fading in reverse, she drives it into the core of the heretic.
力任せにせずとも正確に急所を狙えば。
He extracts the blade and lowers her stance. One clean cut. The mass-produced heretic's head tumbles across the ground.
決して破れることはない。
Dozens of slashes carve the heretics in pieces, then falls lifelessly. The sword slides into the scabbard.
これほど簡単なことに今まで気づかなかったとは。姉さんに感謝しなければならないね。リルスにグレン。ああ、ドロシーかい？あなたなのですか？それにこれは一人で。そうだね。思考転換を起こしたようです。そのようだ。燃え上がっていた心が今は跡形もなく穏やかだよ。記憶は全て残っているのですか？ああ、何もかも覚えているよ。 君と幾度となくいがみ合ったこともしっかりと思い出せる。落ち着かぬかい？私は何も変わっていないつもりだが、君にはそうでないようだ。それにはいずれ慣れてもらうとして、ひとまず今はこの場を片付けるとしよう。
ええ、そうですね。よろしくお願いします。
くれ。なんだい、今さら。
Dorothy doesn't have a foot. The wise bends at the waist, catches her breath, crushes something riding beneath her. Gazes at the mass-produced heretic scattered across the ground. Blood spills from her eyes. She attempts to wipe it away, flowing. The wise senses the end is near.
そんな状態で2体一人で仕留めるとは。さすが君は私のリリス。本当にもういいんだ。もう休んでくれ。
まだやるべきことがありますから。
頼む。もういい。
Commander loses consciousness. The wise hoists him onto her back. Dogtag falls to the ground. The wise struggles even to bend down and retrieve it. Leaves it behind and towards the entrance of the ark. Whole body screams in protest, but she does not stop. The wise looks around the infirmary, starts towards it, then stops. Most have already entered the ark, and only a few remain outside. Commander's life is in danger, but this place cannot treat him for Nikke. They may be able to buy some time, but that is, Commander will eventually die. The wise look at the Commander's face. The ending? I mean, you predicted the sad ending, but holy shit, dude. Not predicted, we know it's the sad ending. So this is what happened to the Commander. Did the wise just ignore the command and just send him down? And then be forever separated from his team? I'm really guessing Anderson is more and more be the commander, or at least a portion of it is somehow related to the commander. The device looks at the commander's face. She has threatened to burst forth, but she holds them back. Quickens her pace, heading straight for the entrance. In the midst of the crowd, a soldier recognizes her and makes his way over.
リリーバイス少佐、ご無事で何よりです。
お疲れ様です。悪いけど VIP 用のルートに案内してください。アーク行きの。
そのようなものなど存在し。
Soldier sees the commander on the device back. Face has turned a pallid hue. Sweat falls down. Soldier understands at once.
案内します。こちらへ。人目につくと騒ぎになります。目立たないようについてきてください。
助かります。
The masses crowding into the giant elevator, the device feels an onerous sense of rebirth. Follows the soldier to a smaller elevator meant. You're already inside. Their eyes widen when they see her arrive. Following the stairs, the device gently her down. Looks at his face for a while.
少佐。
出発は10人揃ってから。
いえ、すぐに動きます。
わかりました。この人をお願いします。責任を持って救命に当たってください。お願いできますね。
了解いたしました。
あなたに託します。
Ah, he's saying nine at the back. The wife steps back. The soldier takes his place next to the commander. The elevator door slide shut.
さよなら。
And that's why there was tragedy. That's why there was tragedy. I'm. And they ended like that. Oh no, there's still more. Elevator doors open. Commander stands before her, sweat pouring down. Soldier holds him steady.
本当に困った人。
これは何の真似だ。
We're going
ア
down.
ークへ行ってください。生き延びてください。
Uh-huh.
指揮官。
赤を言え。どの面下げて生きていけと言うんだ。リリス、どうして。
ここにいたら確実に死にます。分かってるでしょ。
それがどうした。死ぬことなんか怖くもない。私は君たちとここで死ぬんだ。
道連れにする気ですか。あの子たちのことをアークへ行ってください。あの子たちがアークへ行けるように責任を持って。指揮官しかいません。あの子たちを救える人は他には誰も。責任を取ってください、指揮官。
君たちを置いていけるか。
アンダーソン。
Ah!
分かってるはずでしょ。あの子たちが地上に。
Hello, Pepperoni. Hello, welcome. Yeah! There we go! Anderson! Fucking knew it, right? Freaking knew it, right? Who's the legendary commander? Who's been MIA sometime because he couldn't live a normal life? Who has the same blood? Who oddly feels like they know the goddess squad? Yes! Anderson! Okay. But then how does he know Ludmilla? Unless Ludmilla was from the arc, came out, Anderson sneaked him out, and then sneaked her out, and then she was basically keep in touch. And Ludmilla probably know about Anderson's true identity. It probably made a lot of sense why a lot of the people or more. Imagine she shouted Birmingham. Hell no! The reason why Birmingham is not is because, firstly, he just doesn't have the same aura, okay? Right? He doesn't have the chat aura. Knows a lot of secret, but he does not. The way he creates strategies isn't like the commander. Isn't like how the legendary commander even do it, right? I also wonder if Anderson wanted to hold any revenge on the arc, if this is the case. Maybe the Anderson we know now is one who has understood the full spectrum of despair. Because originally our intention was that Anderson was a clone of the commander, right? That was the first thought process, right? Because she was, there are just so many things that pointed that he couldn't be the commander, right? Timeline wise, it doesn't really make sense. It's been quite a while. Secondly, it's his age. Thirdly, obviously being the blood is a rare thing, so that means only a few people has it, or even if anything, they may be the only 2 people that has it, right? And we know that Anderson is very bad at playing dad and mom, okay? Clearly from, you know, the current story, even this story, he's not that good at playing as a dad and mom. So, you have to think about that. But now that he plays politics, right? If the Anderson right now is the actual Anderson and not a clone, he's playing politics of all things. What is the goal of Anderson right now? If we are still linking, right? Obviously, last time we just say it's a speculation, but now we have more confirmation. But is he the exact same Anderson? We don't think so. Still, because of the timeline. But however, there are other stuff that we have to take note now. Right? If this is the real Anderson, what is his goal right now? Right? If this is a clone of Anderson, of the original Anderson that RIP, right? And this is the clone. How much can we use of this original information? What spectrum or vector of it is it the same person? Or is it just the body constitution and the blood? But judging from how he always has to go to machine, one is either it's the original Anderson and he needs to go and heal himself back up or charge himself back up whenever this happened with medicine. Or two, the clone is a defect and wasn't successful enough and have to do this kind of like medical treatment procedure every once in a while. So that's the two things we have to go by for Anderson, right? So this also spilled a lot of stuff because clearly VTC was taken down in some point in time. Likely Anderson is the one who brought it down. I have no doubt about it. The legendary commander. And it also makes sense why he's always like Birmingham. He didn't take the main stage because if let's say he is not changing bodies, let's say he's not like, you know, Nikke like or like not having this same problem he's having now where he's some sort of machine to sustain himself alive. Having the head having the same face the whole time is suspicious as hell. So could it be that Birmingham is the figurehead only, you know, just like that, right? Right, we have to think about it. The political climate has shifted. Now we know the true identity that the legendary commander is hoisting and guiding Anik. Anik as well, right? Anik's and Anderson's relationship has also been very let's say not fun. So also Anderson is less playful than legendary commander. That is also another thing. So that's why we're at the point all of this thing, right, as in whether he really is the same Anderson as this one or he's strictly a clone, which somehow has similar problems. So they could definitely be baiting us. They could definitely be baiting us. The devs could be baiting us. I feel like the devs are baiting us. At this moment, every single thing I say could happen, but I feel like the devs are baiting us to think that yeah, this is probable and this could happen. But they're gonna choose some other weird routes that it's not gonna happen and that you never thought about, and then be like, ta-da! And for Nikke, it's completely possible. They have done sadder story than this. So that means we can expect something sadder after this. Unless Ludmilla is Lily-wise transplanted. That's gonna be a whole nother can of worms I've just opened. People, okay, I have seen spoilers. I have seen people shit posting that Pina is Liberalio, but that makes absolutely no sense. It's very funny. But I'm gonna feel like that's disproven by itself. I don't think that Pina is Liberalio. Firstly, Liberalio. Okay. In terms of strength of the heart, feels different. In terms of you unique abilities, would the Queen give not this much ability? And Liberalia was already alive, take the head of the whites. Okay, let's continue.
地上に捨てられることお願いです。あの子たちを必ず救ってあげて。
And the sun begins to waver. The soldier grabs him from behind again, locks him in place. Eyes meet the wise and she gives a nod. The elevator door starts to close.
離せ、おい、離せ。
This is the first time we see the commander's true face without the sunglasses. Okay, you know what? This is enough for me to open up Anderson. Okay, I want to see his picture. Nikke, Wiki, any spoil every shit, dude. Stop it. Nikke, Wiki has already updated it. He does have green eyes. He does have green eyes, same as Anderson. Yeah. Just to make sure he's not some secondary character that's like not the same person basically. They do a bit in switch. No, this is true. And you can see he doesn't look good at all. He looks like on death's door. That's how pale he looks. Nice work to the art, man. Art direction. Nah, you know what? This is the best way to start off your thumbnail, right? Your thumbnail got to be Anderson. Of all people, it got to be Anderson. And be like, who is this strange person on this thumbnail? I'm curious right now. And I just click on it. This definitely feels very good, right? But this is sad though, because we now know that Lilith sacrificed herself for Anderson. So, if let's say only one person or one of them can leave, right? Let's say in a hypothetical scenario that only one of them could go down. Obviously, Lilith couldn't extend her lifespan because BT just couldn't just give a F about it. RIP. At this point in time, it feels like it's only instead of both of them down, one of them will win. I feel like is Lilith's decision the correct decision? Honestly, a bit hard to say. I feel like Lilith's decision can be a dual blade. Right. Double-edged sword. Again, also another thing is morale. Right. Sending the commander down in advance means no one's giving orders. Morale will be all-time low. Lilith is gonna go down soon. That means when Dorothy came out in Overzone, it's kind of an effery. It's freaking shit that Lily wasn't able to convey the information to Dorothy. Now it makes now it feels the gap. Now it feels the gap. Lily probably RIP before they met up. So the information of the commander going for treatment is gone. Dorothy probably has the idea, but she stated that he was missing, right? Unless she also got a mind switch. So we have a bunch of stuff that are clicking in place for Overzone. Because Overzone happens immediately after this anyway. Or should I say after the epic log of this scene. So we still have hard mode. So hard mode will be the epic log, but the elevator doors close, leaving only a tin seal. Listen peers through the narrow gap at a white flower that appears on the verge of.
リリス、愛している。
私も愛しています。アンダーソン。
I knew it. I mean, the confession was definitely coming, right? We know at this point that they didn't confess yet. You know, they're like husband and wife, but not say it out, right? But to say on both deathbed is kind of disrespectful. I'll be honest. Both of them are being disrespectful. It's yeah. Okay, if you for people who understood, right? Look at your previous event. The one directly before this. It was Terminus Ticket. And the respectful way of ending the series. This is like the completely opposite. Obviously, the feeling evoked and the messy feelings will be there, but this is I would consider this a disrespectful way of sending off. Like, I'll be honest. Yeah, they're proclaiming their love, right? But to do it at this moment, because there was no other choice, because the thing is, you either say it or don't say it ever again, is, I think, disrespectful. Mostly disrespectful. I like romance series, by the way, but this is just peak disrespect. The elevator door closed, and it begins to descend. Leaf stands firm, tears streaming down her face. Walks on, passing by the entrance to the arc, and heads for a vantage point overlooking the battlefield. Though through her clouded vision, she vaguely makes out the figures of her cherished subordinates, comrades, and friends. On the battlefield, she sees them. A young lady moving with unparalleled grace, a compassionate saint wreathed in gold, a swordswoman whose movements flow like water, and a speck of spotless pure white.
残る敵は量産型ヘレティックが一機か。誰だい？
増援ですか？こんなタイミングで一体どこから？まさか
スノーホワイトだ。
はい？
おお、しばらく見ないと思ったら、ずいぶん大きくなったようだね。
Blue Deeper Mind Switch.
その体は一体。
ラプチャーのパーツをその場で取り付けた。
思考転換を起こしたのですか？
Oh my god.
そうだ。
All mind switches.
記憶は？
ドロシー、グレン、ラプンツェル。話は後だ。行くぞ。
White breaks into a run, as Dorothy, Scarlet, and Rapunzel follow. Clash with the mass-produced heretic. The dust begins to settle. The wise, certain of victory, sits back against a wall.
大きくなったね。立派よ。私の妹たち。本当にかっこいい。
Eyelids grow. Even as her eyes become closed, she cranes to look at her friend a little longer. Then, with a smile, quietly closes her eyes. The white flower withered, and the goddess of victory falls asleep. 3 hours later, Misha stares at the crowd ahead. The once large crowd has diminished to only a few people. Looks back. There's no one else. A soldier at the elevator entrance keeps shouting. This might be the last call. The people ahead starts walking and steps into the elevator. Misha grows anxious as her distance from the person ahead of her grows. She looks back. Still no one. She fidgets with the folded paper against her chest. Keenly aware of the paper she holds, walks with her eyes fixed on the ground. Walks slowly, very slowly. She's not gonna go down, is she? The soldier at the front keeps shouting, urging her to hurry. Tricia pretends not to hear and keeps walking.
歩くときは前を見てください。
Looks back.
人に頼んでおいたはずですが。
来てくれた人のことならみんな忙しそうだったからお手伝いに行ってもらったの。一人で行けるからって言って。
一人で行けますか？めったに会うことはできませんよ。それでもいいですか？
平気。
では行きましょう。アークへ。
Elevator door closes. So she did go in. So Oswald know that stage 3 was the end. Oswald definitely know the stage 3 was the end. Even though they portrayed stage 5. I mean, obviously we know he was a secret agent, so he would have known all the information earlier, but nasty, dude. Even the commander didn't get the information on their way late. Though there was some prediction, of course, that they will cut slightly earlier, but also 07 to Scar to Lily-wise. Indeed. There we go, the legendary heretic. Okay, sorry. That's the wrong timeline, yeah. I want the way it's drawn here, there's something very strange. Why is there a red color around here? Is that is the earring as well? Okay, crazy theory. I feel like the person who would destroy the Rapture Queen and the current Sith probably is Anderson in her final moment. Possibility, because he wants to go off together with Lily after all. Definitely would be I guess the correct move, being how Anderson is right now is kind of F up as well.
Glenn, なんだい、棺は作れますか？ああ、何より綺麗で真っ白な石を使おう。スノーホワイト、大丈夫ですか？誰だこれは？覚えていないのですね。うん、知らないな。それならなぜ泣いているのですか
？No White lifts a hand to it. Tears are falling.
さあ、なぜだろうな。それで、これは誰だ？重要人物か？
勝利の女神、その人でした。
Operation Unguardian ends like this. 1 month later. Okay, wait, this overzone. I do wonder how it would be if Snow White didn't pick up on that Lily Wise was dying. So it means that she would retain the information on Lily Wise. At least combat parameter anyway. But her knowing that this is her final battle, guaranteed is also painful as well. Okay, anyway, this is 1 month later, so it's overzone already.
今日もいませんね。
あの日から一人もなしか。人間もニケも。
ニケは時折いらっしゃいますが、人間はどなたも。もしかすると地上の人々はもう少しだけ待ってみましょう。指揮官はまだ連絡はありません。アークへ向かう姿を目撃した量産型がいるそうです。あちらへついているのでしょう。あの時の状態を考えると治療にかなりの時間がかかっているのかもしれません。
言葉を変えれば治せるものとも限らないということかね。
そうかもしれません。
アークは何か言っているかい？
4ヶ月後にはアークの封鎖作業が完全に終了するそうです。その後非常用のルートで迎えに来ると。
ほう、まだ連絡が来ているのかい？
録音された音声でしたが。
ラプチャーどもが来る。
ええ、皆さん戦闘準備を。
まったくうんざりするね。
Head up to
あと
overzone
少し
this
の辛
fast.
抱です。
Another one
何か
passes.
知らせは？
And this is the point in time where Oswald can be also sending lesser and lesser update. Is where overzone started. Bloody shocks like it.
一杯やるとするか。
ここのところ飲みすぎです。
良いではないか。喉を潤すぐらい。
量産型ヘレティックでも来たらどうするのです？
もう2ヶ月も見ておらぬではないか。いつか仕留めたものが最後だったかもしれぬな。
全くそうは思えませんね。あなたは楽観的すぎます。
来るかもしれぬと不安を抱えすぎるよりは良いと思うがね。
そうですね。今はその方がいいかもしれません。
そうそう、いい方に考えることも時には大事だ。
ですが油断はしないでください。
分かった。肝に銘じておこう。ラプチャーどもが来る。数は多くない。
行きましょう。一体いつまで。
Other man
量
later.
産型の皆さんの様子は、この間部隊長が侵食されてからあまり良くありません。そうですか。祈りを捧げてきます。何かあったらお呼びください。ラプンツェル。何か？いえ、何でもありません。お疲れ様です。はい。スノーホワイト。
どうしたの？
大丈夫ですか？
今のところ戦闘に支障はない。
そうではなく、あなた自身のことです。
戦闘に支障はない。
そうですか。
少し出かけるとするよ。
出かけるとはどこへ？
酒がなくなりそうだ。探してこねば。
そんなことをしている状況じゃ。
This is leading up to overzone.
いえ、お気をつけて。
ああ、行ってくる。
I like how they're showing Dorothy's breakdown.
パークに連絡しますか？
はい。
通信開放。ただいまより記録された音声をパークに転送します。通信状態が悪い場合、音声の転送に失敗する可能性があります。
私はゴッテス部隊のリーダー代行ドロシー。リーダーだったリリー・バイス少佐の死亡によりリーダー代行を務めています。アークにゴッテス部隊の現状況を報告します。巨大地下都市アークへ移住する。地上の重要人物を保護およびガイドする。アークガーディアン作戦は達成率 72% という数値で成功を収めました。現在地上に残っている人類は公的にはおりません。ゴッテス部隊および多数の量産型ニケがアーク入り口に建てられた臨時監視所に駐屯しており、アークが完全に閉ざされ封鎖されるまでラプチャーの襲撃から入り口を守っています。今後2ヶ月間封鎖が完了するまで警備を続ける予定です。我々は今危機に瀕しています。補給品と人員はどんどん減っており、度重なる戦闘により心身ともに極限状態です。封鎖中であるアークからの支援は望みません。私たちは最後まで使命を全うし成功を収めるでしょう。その代わり約束してください。アークの封鎖が終わったら私たちをアークに連れて行くことを、アークで私たちを勝利の女神として扱うことを、人類のために戦ってきた私たちが誇りを持てるよう
約束してください。以上です。
We really know the
返答をお待ちしております。
量産型を利用する計画は失敗ですね。ボディも自我も完成度が低すぎます。これでは何もしない方がマシですね。工程が複雑になるだけです。アナキオールのようなものはもう作れないのでしょうか。自我の完成度が非常に高い人間もどきもごく少数はいるようですが、めったに見つかるものではありません。高品質の素材というものは。だからこそあなたには大いに期待しているのです。自我の強い人間もどきを使えばどんな結果になるか気になって仕方ありません。何よりお母様が直々に手掛けられた2つ目の作品でもありますから待ち遠しいですね。あなたには一人寂しくあそこを漂っているお母様に頭を届けるという大事な使命があるのですから、早くお顔を見せてください。リバーレリオ。
Why is Mirror the one who made the Gene Reaper? Oswald goes over the minute dozens of. You know what? If Liberelio was the Gene Reaper and she made Liberelio, it's kind of funny that her projects are kind of being stopped by Liberelio then. Unless Liberelio doesn't care about or doesn't listen to Mirror. And knowing Mirror was the one who designed them to go against Goddess is making me hate Mirror even more. You know, even after death and she's still alive, she's still making it worse. Like, holy crap, you cannot just stop hating her, right? You must continuously hate Mirror non-stop. It's disgusting. How is Mirror still doing all of the damage even after death? It's like she set the domino effect for like 10 years. No bloody way she's gonna still be here, right? At the end of the story. And this is a brute. You know what? This makes even more sense that we can still continue to hate her, right? If Goddess Spawn wasn't enough, and people are saying that she's a separate entity, it is the worst part of her personality. You know, that's just no. That's just no. Nuh-uh. Nothing will ever say, right? Nothing she's ever gonna do, if she ever have redemption, is gonna save her from this bullcrap of nonsense. I'll be honest. Just horrible. Absolutely dog shit horrible. Then we're gonna see Oswald gonna be Delulu again because Oswald is gonna have to abandon Goddess Squad. Same as the ending. Which is interesting. The way they are doing it, although we have seen some of this scene before, we are going to add new scenes and make it. Right, that is their implementation, and it's clearly working, right? Well, clearly it was implementation time right. They concern follow-up actions regarding Operation Ark Guardian and sealing of the Ark. Operation Ark Guardian was a great success. The Ark seal remains unstable as we finish using the forces left on the surface. Goddess Squad is still active and continue to provide updates. The task of finalizing the process will be assigned to the Goddess Squad. Oswald is the best fit for this final operation. Regarding the handling of the Goddess Squad upon their return, their arrival in the Ark poses significant risks, including idolization and the potential for their deification. Their reputation and prestige are likely to greatly surpass those of the central government. Given the instability of the current situation, the risk is exceptionally high. Same protocol used for second generation traitors may be applicable. Charges of collusion with raptures may potentially pose. Relevant documentation has been prepared. Red Shield's corruption research can be transferred under Rapunzel's the VTC on board. Regarding the plan to execute the Goddess Squad at the Ark entry under the pretext of corruption. Nikke is uncooperative. Armed suppression involves execution risk and may likely expose the plan to the public. Political and social erasure is the effective method. The commander of the Goddess Squad, a risk factor, is currently comatose and being monitored by the VC. You mean he's being experimented on by the VCs? What do you mean comatose? The other witnesses who rode the elevator with him have been eliminated. No, even the soldier, not a single soul knows the commander survived. The legendary commander was declared dead for that reason. But the squad has no backing. Political and social erasure is feasible. Lifelong house arrest and isolation are appropriate and ideal. The technology used in the Grimm's model is of the highest quality and includes very valuable battle data. Dismantling and subsequent research are among the considerations. So at this point, so we're going to know why the second gen model abandoned humanity, right? We're going to know what happened to Siren. We're going to learn what happened to Siren and the girl, Grito, and I forgot what's the other name. The twin, basically. Because they are the only three left alive. Anachiro is still on the run. Abe is somewhere. At this point in time, I don't know Abe has turned into Nikke yet. Oh no, wait, she is a Nikke that focuses on research. Conclusion. Hit the final phase of the Ark Seed operation with the Goddess Squad. Upon their return, dispose of them in a manner that does not provoke. So Oswald went against the central government in terms of trying to dismantle the Goddess Squad. They let them free by making them survive. So the current gen Goddess Squad came back. No one would know them. They got no political backing. And they are in the dense nest of the highest danger. But since the VTC is down, Vasilis is kept in check. Anderson getting milk. Yeah, he's getting drained like vampires, man. So Oswald did not really. Okay, Oswald kind of still had to betray them. He had to betray both sides to keep the Goddess Squad safe. That is what I'm interpreting, which is likely what's happening. Right? I mean, we have already decided that. Okay, not say we, but it's kind of forecasted that in the political scene was so damn bad, right? Back during the VTC era, that likely something was scheming against the Goddess Squad. I mean, we already know that the Unchained, right? Vapors was already kind of being targeted, and that was a whole nother big mess. So I guess it actually linked up nicely in the sense of that the Goddess Squad was being wrapped up in political mess. Because the moment they come back, they couldn't live their life as they thought they would. Because politically, they have too much political power, basically. They have too much power for the masses, which is what the central government has been afraid of. And Anderson has been keeping tracks of our MC for the same reason. Oh. I do not think the Ark will accept a heretic. Going down this storyline, I don't think that storyline will have a good end. It will be more similar to how Brown Dust 1 did its story. Halfway through, it went very dark. And I think that's gonna be what our main character will have to proceed as. I don't think he will turn into a second Johan, but I think he will definitely get the nastiest wake-up call and that he will need to make a civilization above with heretics and humanity on board. That on board can be there, right? So heretic, Nikke, human neutral ground. Without the Ark. Because I feel like Ark right now is actually not able to accept heretic now, neither in the future. The power that the MC trying to get right now doesn't look feasible in this era with Anderson. And we already know Anderson has a lot of political backing, and with this backstab, we know that Anderson's political backing isn't the solid. He had to rebuild his backing for sure. And if the Anderson is the same person. So from this theory, okay, I should probably finish up this theory, finish up this first, then we start theory, because I still need to know what happened to Oswald. Oswald fights the urge to hold his phone, covers his face. After a moment, a resolve settles over him. Thought of his upcoming plan makes him nauseous, but he must see they must remain as idols. However, Oswald looks at the picture frame on the table. The photo commemorating Other Squad's first deployment. With a wary motion, he salutes them.
人類のために戦うゴッテス部隊に感謝を
White opens her eyes. Okay, now we are in the future. So this reminiscence doesn't seem to be from Snow White's end. We are looking at it from so many POVs. What is the developer trying to make us understand? Anyway, her body feels light. It seems she has adapted to her body.
目が覚めましたか？
ああ、
武器の最終調整が終わりました。装着してみてください。
整備室に向かう。
はい。ではそちらで。
Snow White sits up, looks in the mirror,
涙の跡がある。
leaves the room, walks down the corridor, stopping before she reaches the hanger.
お姉ちゃん。
White opens the door to the hanger. And it's gonna end there. Animation? Oh yeah, I'm playing on medium and low quality because of the crashing. So it doesn't look that good. Honestly, it's probably better to check out the official YouTube after the event. Because this is a lot of money went into it, for sure. All the canisters, dude. Oh. That's the original laser gun. Not Guardian. Guardian, the eye has Lily Wise on it. Ah. This is the evil event, I'll be honest. Doing this on New Year's? I mean, to be fair, we always know New Year events has tend to be like this. Man, I think people who are playing the Art Guardian is gonna have their mind blown, I swear. The confirmation, the outright confirmation There are so many stuff confirmed. There are so many. I wonder if a gacha skin will still keep the leopard team. No. I don't think so. It will, if you ask me, right, what would her next skin team would be, there are two ways it can go. One would be her meeting up with the commander, which is our MC, and seeing what they can do next with the event. Unless she starts appearing in the main story, I don't think she will follow the trend of going into the swimsuit like how Dorothy would do, or like her other gacha skin. I think so far most of Snow White's skins, right, has been lore related, so I don't think the leopard team would be kept, especially for a gacha skin. I mean, it could be an inspiration, but I don't think it will be kept lah. Honestly, I would think that they will make something more hooded, maybe. I honestly felt that she would have gotten the AOD treatment. I would have honestly thought that she would have gotten the AOD treatment, but no, she did not. So I think it's very hard to say. I don't know what's the sale of her banner. I think she's popular enough, and she was written to be one of the mainstays for now. But as I said, at the start of the stream, I think one of the scenes, I feel like they set up a death flag for Snow White. Not close, but will definitely be, wherever her journey ends, will be probably middle or end. I don't think Snow White is surviving the entire longevity of the scene. Sad to say, but yeah. I can't believe they set the death flag so early as well. It's kind of dumb. Anyway, Arc Guardian, beautiful. I would say devastating for a New Year event. I think this probably is the strongest New Year event they've ever written. And it strongly supports Overzone and the end of, I believe, Cinderella's story. I forgot what's the story right now. Yeah, what's the Arc Guardian rating for me? I think it's like 8.8 out of 10. Highest 9.2, I think. But I think 8.8 is generous. They gave us a lot of answers, and they gave us a lot of questions. But I think the team here is hopeful, for sure. But hopeful for who? No, I think the hopeful is actually not for any of our current living characters. It's actually hopeful for Lilith. It's a bit ironic that the people who are alive are not being hopeful, and the people who died are the hopeful ones. Kind of ironic, but the theme of this is hopeful for the deceased, not hopeful for the survivors. And that's kind of mind-blowing that the two of them, I'm still clueless how Frisia would fit in the current timeline. That's the point. I know some people were like contemplating on who Frisia is, but my current thought process is Frisia is probably my thought process is N102 or N. But that doesn't really make sense yet. I'm also thinking they there are a few things that they could have done. They have not introduced the character. Two, they introduced the character but it's already sent out by the commander. So could be as well, but I mean obviously right now everything is speculation, right? There is no definite link. Everything is speculation out of the ass. Who's like personality fits it the most, right? Right now we only can use personality. We can't even rely on looks because Anderson clearly looked different. Okay, Anderson features were not the same as the Commander's features because Commander hit his features, right? So a lot of the stuff we can deduce off is only on personality. And based on the personality, N102 could be like it because we know she wasn't treated the best. In the Christmas event, in the first year. If I recall correctly anyway, it's been very long since I played that event. I might want to replay it on stream. But we know that Oswald sucks at raising kids, okay? Let's be honest. Oswald is not getting No Father Award. He's getting a Sim Award, but he's not getting No Father Award. Okay? So that is that as well. He's gonna do the unthinkable, which he did do the double betrayal. He betrayed the Ark and the Goddess Squad at the same time so that they could survive. That was kind of evident. Based on what we see right now, we know all of the political intrigue. Why they were scrapped off of history was also because of this political maneuvering. I'll be honest, whenever Anderson woke up, he would be mad as hell. But if he manages to escape from VTC after VTC was broken apart and Goddess Squad was scrapped off, right, he would have the ability to survive in the Ark without causing trouble. So likely the person who was posting the Goddess stories in the starting was probably Anderson after he was, I would say, put on peril from after the VTC and his health was kind of stabilized. I would say stabilized, but he's never stabilized. He's constantly in a state of perpetual death. Like a mecha human at this point. So my guess, that's why I'm putting so many thoughts, right, that Anderson will be the one to kill the Rapture Queen face to face with his dying breath. Likely that's how he will end. I don't see another way to end it right now, because if he killed himself on top of Lilith and all of the puddle of Unchained goes onto Lilith's current body, which is full of nano machines, it will destroy her, melt her completely, and it will also give the death wish that he wanted, because clearly he wanted to die with Lilith. It's not a suspect, it's actually a fact that he actually did want to die with Lilith. That's why he didn't want to go down. But Lilith wanted him to take responsibility so that the rest could, you know, survive. Well, I mean, to be fair, Lilith is the one who beheaded them and but you know, so what I'm seeing is that's how they're gonna plot the death of the Queen. How the thing will go towards that is unsure. Now we know Liberalius was created by Mirror. But then again, really is Mirror, so they can stretch the franchise more. Mirror is dangerous than the Queen. Mirror is definitely more dangerous than the Queen. She can go against the Haki of the Queen. She can innovate and generate even more vile stuff than the Queen. Who is more dangerous? Yeah, the Queen is more powerful now. In terms of power, Mirror is not powerful, right? That's why she has Rose. And she was able to make something that wasn't a Nikke and wasn't a heretic. Heretic. So really, she is making something, a third faction, a new kind of race, in a already complicated mess. She is trying to play God. For sure, she has a VTC blood in her. So, that is definitely gonna be the case. She is the true endgame of Chaos, but obviously we have to focus on the Queen, because the Queen is definitely the path right now, right? And whatever story we are doing right now is always related to the Queen. I have not touched the Beast. I'm still on which chapter? 28, I think. I actually wanted to do a bit of main story today as well, but I don't have time for today. So I'm gonna end the stream soon, but yeah. I know we have the 4 Beasts, and I know we have other, like, you know, certain Anachiro stuff in here, but we are not going to be able to get to that yet, so I still have some context missing other than from spoilers and lore videos, right? So so much stuff we can just compile together, we can just talk about it, you know, and I deeply enjoy it right now. Also, another thing, we now know that Liberalia was birthed from both the Queen and Mirror, right? Does that mean that Liberalia works with Mirror? Does she follow instruction from Mirror? Does she have another thing as well, right? Liberalia, I feel might be killed off because she was augmented by Mirror. I got a feeling, right, that could be the case. Then she had to save. She will be saved again by MC, and then we're gonna have a city started up for heretics and Nikke and humans. We're gonna see that Mirror tried to bring herself beside the MC because she's going to set up her second part of her plan, which is to be whoever is the second closest to be king or queen. She will align themselves with them and grab the power. But that's what she's been planning for a while with the queen, and she's going to definitely do that with the MC. If he sets up the town, that's definitely going to happen. Obviously, how Anderson will maneuver is another thing as well. Is this the same Anderson totality? We still have a lot of stuff. If he is trying to downplay the MC's power as well, political power as well, he could be an enemy as well, right? So we have that to think of as well. So right now, I think for continuing on, what we need to focus on story-wise, Anderson's goal. For sure now, Anderson is now proven to be that. Is he the real Anderson? Anderson go. Next one. We're definitely gonna have to see how. Wait, it's not Anik, right? Anik did give the MC a separate AI to use in case she fails, right? I got a feeling whether the AI will be used above ground and whether Mirror will have access to this version of Anik. If there is, it might be problematic, right? That's one thing. Again, this is post Goddess Fall, so we have to see how Rapunzel and Scarlet and even Noah would return back. Yeah, Noah is the shield girl. I finally remember her name. Will come back, and then the next one would be the second gen. Is it Bretel and basically the twin girl? What are their plans? If they are not on the side of humans, is she on the side of Mirror? Because it feels like Mirror might have got them into perfection, I'll be honest. But if she's not a heretic, they're not heretic and they're not working in it, and she's working alongside heretics and Nikke's, there's a chance that they are not heretic, but they are intending to be a new race. And if that's the case, they might be in a similar state as to Ghosts. And we know second gen are very strong, comparable to the Grim versions, so that as well. Then last one is the Heretic storyline, which is right now we are fully exploring it. And you notice that I did not put up Modernia. I don't think Modernia will be in the story for a very long while, I'll be honest. Modernia is a fan favorite, but if they are not going to bring back her for quite a bit, I don't think she'll be back for a very long while. So I'm expecting a long break from Modernia. One, because of her, probably her outreach as well for the gacha skin, but two, I think it gives a solid time for them to make people miss her and come back at a way later time. So that's my prediction for Nikke right now. Frisia's identity, I'm still not too much of a guess. If anything, personality guess, I already said it. So I wouldn't probably keep an eye on her yet. If anything, just I think there are more stuff that are easier to take note of as the story goes on, and those are probably the ones that are probably gonna tackle sooner rather than later. Maybe within the year we might get probably or 3 tick off of the that I just said. But yeah, I think that's all I will say. Yeah, enjoyed the story. Thank you Cosmo God, right? And thank you the Nikke team for making such a great story. With that said though, I do hope you enjoy the stream on the YouTube side and on the Twitch side. On the YouTube side, if you do enjoy, please like, press the subscribe button and press the notification bell down below so that whenever I do my streams upload, you'll be notified. And on Twitch, you can just press the follow button so that whenever I stream, you will also be notified. With that said though, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy Arc Guardian, right? And I will see you next time. I'll probably do a Hollow Knight stream first. We're continuing our P4 grind. So we'll do P4 first, and whether we can finish it, and we'll come back A. Depending on whether we beat B4 or whether I want to take a break from Hollow Knight. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so next stream is unconfirmed, but probably Hollow Knight, and then we'll come back to Nikke main campaign on the time when we are gonna do hard mode for Arc Guardian as well. Yeah, I am excited for the epic log, and I hope you are too. So stay tuned for that. Okay, yeah, okay. Mata ne, see you guys.